Hello Forest Schoolers, this is Lorna. I'm going to read to you the story of the Winter Hedgehog by Anne and Reg Cartwright. If you listen carefully, you might hear a little bird up in the tree against a very blue sky this morning, chirruping away. There goes the jackdaw. Let's begin. One cold, misty autumn afternoon, the hedgehogs gathered in a wood. They were searching for undergrowth, for leaves for their nests, preparing for the long sleep of winter. All, that is, except one. The smallest hedgehog had overheard two foxes talking about winter. "What is winter?" he had asked his mother. "Winter comes when we are asleep," she had replied. "It can be beautiful, but it can also be dangerous, cruel, and very, very cold. It's not for the likes of us. Now go to sleep." But the smallest hedgehog couldn't sleep. As evening fell, he slipped away to look for winter. When hedgehogs are determined, they can move very swiftly, and soon the little hedgehog was far from home. An owl swooped down from high in a tree. "Hurry home," he called. "It's time for your long sleep." But on and on went the smallest hedgehog, until the sky turned dark and the trees were nothing but shadows. The next morning, the hedgehog awoke to find the countryside covered in fog. "Who goes there?" called a voice, and a large rabbit emerged from the mist, amazed to see a hedgehog about with winter coming on. "I'm looking for winter," replied the hedgehog. "Can you tell me where it is?" "Hurry home," said the rabbit. "Winter is on its way, and it's no time for hedgehogs." But the smallest hedgehog wouldn't listen. He was determined to find winter. Days passed. The little hedgehog found plenty of slugs and insects to eat, but he couldn't find winter anywhere. Then one day the air turned icy cold. Birds flew home to their roosts, and the animals hid in their burrows and warrens. The smallest hedgehog felt very lonely and afraid, and wished he was asleep with the other hedgehogs. But it was too late to turn back now. That night, winter came. A frosty wind swept through the grass and blew the last straggling leaves from the trees. In the morning, the whole countryside was covered in a carpet of snow. "Winter!" cried the smallest hedgehog. "I've found it at last!" And all the birds flew down from the trees to join him. The trees were completely bare, and the snow sparkled on the grass. The little hedgehog went to the river to drink, but it was frozen. He shivered, shook his prickles, and stepped onto the ice. His feet began to slide, and the faster he scurried, the faster he sped across it. "Winter is wonderful!" he cried. At first, he did not see the fox like a dark shadow slinking towards him. "Hello, come and join me," he called as the fox reached the riverbank. But the fox only heard the rumble of his empty belly. With one leap he pounced onto the ice. When the little hedgehog saw his sly yellow eyes, he understood what the fox was about. But every time he tried to run away, he slipped on the ice. He curled into a ball and spiked his prickles. "Ouch!" cried the fox. The sharp prickles stabbed his paws, and he reeled towards the centre of the river, where he disappeared beneath the thin ice. "That was close!" the smallest hedgehog cried to himself. "Winter is beautiful, but it is also cruel, dangerous, and very, very cold." Winter was everywhere, in the air, in the trees, on the ground, and in the hedgerows. Colder and colder it grew, until the snow froze under the hedgehog's feet. Then the snow came again, and a cruel north wind picked it up and whipped it into a blizzard. The night fell as black as ink, and he lost his way. "Winter is dangerous, and cruel, and very, very cold," moaned the little hedgehog. Luck saved him. A hare scurrying home gave him shelter in his burrow. By morning the snow was still falling, but gently now, covering everything it touched in a soft white blanket. Hello, hen. The smallest hedgehog was enchanted as he watched the pattern his paws made. Reaching the top of a hill, he rolled into a ball and spun over and over, turning himself into a great white snowball as he went. Down and down he rolled until he reached the feet of two children building a snowman. "Hey, look at this," said the little girl. "A perfect head for our snowman." "I'm a hedgehog," he cried. But no one heard his tiny hedgehog voice. The girl placed the hedgehog snowball on the snowman's body, and the boy used a carrot for a nose and pebbles for the eyes. "Let me out!" shouted the hedgehog. But the children just stood back and admired their work before going home for lunch. When the children had gone, the cold and hungry hedgehog nibbled at the carrot nose. As he munched, the snow came out, and the snow began to melt. He blinked in the bright sunlight, tumbled down the snowman's body, and was free. Time went on. The hedgehog saw the world in its winter cloak. He saw bright red berries disappear from the hedgerows as the birds collected them from their winter larders, and he watched children speed down the hill on their sleighs. The winter passed. One day the air grew warmer, and the river began to flow again. A stoat who had changed his coat to winter white changed it back to brown. Then the little hedgehog found crocuses and snowdrops beneath the trees, and he knew it was time to go home. Slowly he made his way back to the wood. From out of every log, sleepy creatures, hedgehogs, were emerging from their long sleep. "Where have you been?" they called to the smallest hedgehog. "I found winter," he replied. "And what was it like?" asked his mother. "It was wonderful and beautiful, but it was also dangerous and cruel and very, very cold," finished his mother. But she was answered by a yawn, a sigh, and a snore, and the smallest hedgehog was fast asleep. I hope you enjoyed that story. Something nice to listen to, perhaps. I'll leave you with the birds for a minute. Perhaps close your eyes, tune in Can you hear them? See you very soon.